Herbs we say, you deaf or what?
I see your man LeBron ran Magic out of town, bro.
That's not what happened, bro.
So what happened? I don't think that's what happened either, low-key. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that's what happened.
We need to take a step back and realize that the Lakers were losing prior to LeBron being there. Losing culture.
Right.
LeBron assumed, he would be the savior.
Okay.
Right? But
Right.
I don't think it was ever planned for them to win the first year.
Right. I don't think so either.
Get some free agents, all that. Magic leaving the way he did was ass. You know what I'm saying?
But that's what's gonna make this shit not ass. Is because he is Magic and he did some Magic shit.
I heard some conspiracies though.
What? Oh, what? Like backstabbing and all that type
I
of
heard
shit?
a couple. One, the backstabbing with Pelinka.
Mm-hmm.
Another one, ESPN's about to come out with an article about his workplace behavior. And let's pause on that one. Imagine getting assaulted by Magic Johnson.
Yeah.
That's scary. That's risky.
Yeah, that's like assault. That's like
that's
attempted
murder.
Yeah, hell yeah, bro. I think it had to do just with him not liking the job, bro. He was never there. He wanted to be a mentor, like he said to other people and shit like that.
He was a mascot. That's what I took him as.
Right.
He was a Lakers mascot, and he had to actually work.
Yeah.
And the pressure of LeBron and everything that comes with it was probably too much for him.
Too much. He didn't want to deal with that shit.
I mean, if you're Magic Johnson, the last thing you want to do is get fired.
Yeah. Do you think he was gonna get fired though?
I think some negative publicity probably would have came out. And there would have been pressure. Yeah, there would have been pressure to fire him, especially in the climate that we live in.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Magic Johnson, like Bill Cosby of basketball, without all the crazy.
Well, now if that element comes out,
well, he's just that happy figure that everyone loves. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh, Tiger just won.
Tiger's back,
Let's go, baby.
and he had the classic red on.
How many championships is it? Is it Master Championships or how did they classify?
I don't know how many Masters he's won.
Right.
I don't know. He's up there. I think second most, maybe.
Nah, do you think they ever get used to that shit?
What, him winning?
Yeah.
I think when he was winning in his prime, it made them money, so they were cool about it.
Yeah.
As soon as he fell off, they were hyped. Because he had Rory McIlroy, Dustin Johnson, all these new players that are white, typical
white players,
golf players, and it felt like golf was back to them.
Did you see that talk that Utah had with Tabo and Kyle Korver?
The article that Kyle Korver wrote?
Right. Yeah.
I tend to look at those things from two perspectives. It's great. Kyle Korver wrote this think piece about white privilege and what it means to have white privilege, right? Mm-hmm. And then another part of me is why did he write this though? What's the why did he write this? What is he gaining from writing this? Because at the end of the day, I think when you're in media, you're looking to gain something, whether it be community benefit or personal gain. Was he trying to gain personally? But that was just me playing devil's advocate.
Right.
But from the gist of the article, it speaks to what's really been going on, not only in Utah, but just the league, probably since forever.
Those places like Utah and shit have been Utah for long before the NBA. You know what I'm saying? So that shit been going on and will continue. So.
And it's is there any way to combat it? And I don't really think there is.
That's life's work. That's interwoven systemic racism shit.
But I think in today's climate,
right,
athletes specifically in the NBA are so socially aware now that they don't stand for any of that. You know what I'm saying? So that's why you can see someone like Russell Westbrook speaking up.
Right.
And I think my biggest concern is what actually Kyle Korver mentioned in the article. Your initial reaction is to target Russell Westbrook in that situation.
Right.
Oh, here he is. Here's his temper. What's he doing? And that's how we're portrayed in the rest of the world. If African American is a headline comes out, automatically assume the worst, or the worst mugshot is put out.
He said himself damn, why Tabo out at this hour at a
Right.
party? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's his initial shit, and that was his man. You know what I'm saying? He said he was the person that he could talk to, and they talked about world issues and all types of things like that. So I think just him confronting that and bringing that to the forefront is good. A lot of times think like, damn, are white people really this oblivious to this type of shit? But it doesn't stop like the work that we have to do. You know what I'm saying? Which is like should be the focus.
I think his biggest message was, you know, to just listen more. Like, as a white man, your goal is to listen instead of reacting. But I want to ask you a question, like, at what point is it not about race and it's more about just cultural differences? You mentioned things that are like innate, right? So to me that says, like, if I'm a baby that's born in the deep south and I'm a white child, right? And my parents are racist and they're teaching me these racist ideologies, at what point is it my fault that I learned those things? So, like, do you judge, like, is it fair to judge that little kid that's just been taught that? Like, millennials, everything is connected by the internet now, right? So you have the opportunity to learn about all of these things. That's what I think the difference is from previous generations. Like, it was less about choice and more about just what was taught to you. So as, you know, time goes on and people have the opportunity to learn on their own, you're kind of learning what your subconscious wants you to learn. So you're either good or bad. Like, you know what I'm saying? So if you're just naturally a bad person, which exists, you're just going to choose to be this racist prick. Like, you're going to be the cop that just wants to just beat on this little black kid, you know? So that's I guess what's been my approach and just how I look at, like, racism, and, like, this is just how shit is, like, and we got to figure out how to, like, maneuver through it.
Yeah. So, like, that last bit, like, this is just how this shit is, and we got to figure out how to maneuver in it, you know? I think that you're right. We are at a point where information is damn near endless, you know? And it is on us to start to seek out this knowledge and know, you know what I'm saying, how shit is set up in this country, and, you know what I'm saying? And for me, it's like, now you understand this and you see, quote unquote, better people have tried and failed.
I don't want to say it failing.
Right.
Like, I feel like
it could light a torch. It
Right.
could be seen as lighting a torch, you know?
Like, the message is still getting spread.
Yeah, the message is getting spread.
And I think you see that every generation. You know, every generation, I guess, attempts to make better change. You know, we see it that we had from Martin Luther King to Barack Obama. You know, each 20 or so years, something happens.
5 generations ago, you know, how much different is that?
I think it was way different.
Do you not think that there's just new age, new generation type forms of slavery? I.e., gentrification, war on drugs, mass incorporation, vote suppression, blah, 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 you know?
I don't want to call them new forms of slavery, because I think when people speak to slavery, they think of the, like, you know, the African slave tribe, right? And it
chains
directly affects Africans or African Americans. I think nowadays all of the things you mentioned doesn't just affect African Americans anymore. I think just minorities in whole, specifically in, like, Latin American communities, who are arrested at the same proportions as us.
People of color, I say people
and
of
get
color.
paid less than us.
Right.
You know, like, these are things that people don't really speak out on. So a lot of us are all going through, like, similar journeys right now, you know, and trying to break out of this cycle. I will say gentrification isn't all bad. There are things that come from it that are positive.
Right.
I think me as, like, a young, like, black man with a occupation, I'm part of gentrification also.
Right.
You know, like, I'm also looking to find cheaper rent or in you know what I'm saying? Like, but it's what I'm supposed to do in that community. Like, how do I put put something back into that community. That's something that I'm trying to figure out.
Right.
I think that's what the main issue of gentrification is. That people building these luxury condos and there aren't any tax incentives going to the community. They're going to the people that own it.
Right.
But whatever. That's a whole nother.
That's a huge.
Yeah.
That's a huge thing. Those are the things that would make things like gentrification at least feel better, you know?
Yeah.
Because you, the young man, you know what I'm saying, everybody that's moved there, 20 years ago, that shit was a whole different place.
Right.
All those people that were in that system that was generationally there, it's like, where are they now? You know what I'm saying? Where have they been displaced? You know, the types of, you know, economic despair that all people of color and other people in New York as a whole feel, that's directly, I feel, related to capitalism.
Right.
Which is a fucking another byproduct of this fucking country.
And I also like struggle with the ideas that what's worse? Is it racism or is it capitalism? So it's like living in America, most of our goals are to like achieve some type of success from a capitalistic perspective, right? We want nice things. We want to be able to provide for our family. So that part of capitalism isn't bad in my opinion. But when there's millions of people in communities that are, you know, not benefiting from capitalism at all, that's where the conversation becomes about like, all right, these people are disproportionately being mistreated. People in Flint still don't have water, etc. You know what I mean? Like these are real issues that are happening, and it's like people don't really care because it's not affecting their wallet. Whether you're a person of color or anything, like as a community, you need to figure out how to like affect their pockets. Not shopping on Black Friday isn't gonna help. What will help is putting money into yourself and building your community so then your community is essentially wealthier. And that will take 5 generations, in my opinion. Harlem should be Black Town, like whatever you want to call it. You know what I'm saying? Like it should
be, but that shit is not like that no more. Black people don't live there like that, bro.
Black people still live in Harlem. There are enough Black people that could band together in Harlem specifically, in the Bronx specifically, in Brooklyn specifically, that could build up a community of their own, you know, own businesses, from supermarkets to clothing stores. It's just a matter of the rest of the community going in there and supporting. There are apps out there that enable you to purchase from Black-owned businesses. We don't hear about these, but they exist.
How do we hear about those things, and how does that shit really take hold?
I think this is where the connection lies for the millennials. As a millennial or even Gen Z, that, you know, very technological and digital first, right? Using social media, build awareness. How I found about all these apps, browsing Twitter, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I think it's more likely for a millennial or a Gen Zer to purchase something that they saw online from a Black-owned business. I saw a wing shop in Brooklyn that like went crazy because people just started posting the food. Like the quality was good, and people were like, "Oh, bet Black-owned. All right, I'm in there." You know what I'm saying? Like it's things like that. We have access to too much knowledge now to be spending our money on things that either one, we don't get a return from, or two, it's not like our community's not getting a return. If I can give some knowledge on anything that I'm passionate about that I know can increase your individual wealth, you know what I'm saying? Whether it be financial advice or, you know, anything, you know what I'm saying? Like, we need, if you are possessing some type of knowledge is meant to be like shared, you know what I'm saying? So just pass it on to your brother or your sister, and that's how over time, you know, community grows.
Exactly. Word, bro. So keep that message going. My spliff is done. So we done for now. Mikey, Smoke Break, my brethren, kenNY. Holla at y'all.
Peace.